workers, the convoy, the construction equipment can get on the mountain and start construction?
We are working with the university and all the agencies involved to create a plan that would assure that we can keep access safe for all of the workers, visitors, and the people who work in the other telescopes on Mauna Kea. So we look to enforce existing rules and regulations and laws, and then look at the authority that we have to secure the mountaintop and assure access. And so that's what we are focused on.
How do you prevent the same dynamic from happening that we've seen the last two times that the convoy has tried to make its way up? That folks just spot the road and the convoy has to turn back. Any thoughts on bringing out the National Guard?
No, I mean, we are working on a comprehensive plan. And so as we finalize those details, we'll be making announcements to the public. We are working with the university to assess the status of that access road and then lining up the work that's required to reopen that road. The university is working through that. And once we are able to do that, then we'll look at what other action is required to assure public can safely access Mauna Kea.
The National Guard an option that's being discussed at this point?
No.
But that's an option.
We are going to be looking at the actions that we need to take to assure that the public and the workers can access the facilities, the existing facilities, as well as those workers that would be involved with the project.
Governor, what's your thoughts on overnight camping? Because I know a long precedent was that no overnight camping was allowed, but there are Native Hawaiian protesters, as they call themselves, that haven't camped there overnight. So what's to say that any group not associated with protesters on Mauna Kea goes up there and wants to start camping there overnight? How would you handle that?
Well, we intend to enforce the laws as they exist today, even those laws and rules and regulations regarding camping.
Folks have been camping there overnight, though, and without any retribution from the government or any citation from the government. So what's to stop me and a group of friends from going over there and saying that we want to enjoy the right to camp overnight as well?
Yeah, so we are reviewing the existing laws and regulations and intend to enforce them equally amongst everyone, public as well as protesters.
What cost or what commitment of resources is the state willing to make to ensure that access for TMT construction crews can happen and eventually the mountain can hopefully reopen to not just visitors but also local residents?
The state has a duty and obligation to assure safe access to any facility. And we are committed to ensuring safe access to Mauna Kea. And we are being smart about what that means and trying to be comprehensive in planning what changes would need to be made that gives us the best opportunity to assure safe access.
Does the UH or the state face any penalties from TMT planners because their construction schedule has been delayed? Any penalties whatsoever, anything that the state or UH faces for not getting the construction done on their time schedule?
No, there has been no discussion of penalties with the developers.
Just to be clear, so do you plan to make the campers and the protesters have been staying there now?
We do intend to enforce the laws on Mauna Kea. So yes, if they are there illegally, then we will be enforcing the law.
Are you asking for more help from the county?
We are working with the county and all the law enforcement to develop a comprehensive plan to assure the safety of Mauna Kea.
Would you bring other law enforcement agencies into it from the other counties?
We are working through the details of what would be required. We do know that the project is a multi-year project. And so We are planning and looking at all of the cooperation agreements by law enforcement statewide to understand what assets we would have available to us and how we would need to work with each other to ensure that we can provide sustained safe access to Mauna Kea for current workers as well as those working on the project.
Is the dialogue ongoing, or is this it? Stop talking, let's go.
You know, we are concerned because of the safety aspects. You know, the boulders and rocks and walls built on the road obviously provide a hazard to the general public as well as those existing employees working on the mountain, as well as those that may be involved with the TMT project. And so we are working to ensure the safety of all of those people to ensure that they can get access to their workplace so that they can continue. And as said before, TMT does have the permits and the right to proceed. So we're working to assure that they have access to exercise those rights.
Governor, it was explained to us today that the reason why the visitor center is closed is because of lack of personnel and resources needed to make sure that operations there can continue as a result of the influx of people up there since 2003 was the statement that we were provided with. Can you speak to why there hasn't been a better plan to respond over the last 12 years for what has clearly been more interest in going out to the summit of Mauna Kea?
You know, I think we are working with the university to improve our management of Mauna Kea in a lot of different ways. I do think that the situation today is very, very different than the situation in 2003. And I think we all, the university, DLNR, all of the parties, Office of Mauna Kea Management, are focused on anticipating what the needs are and developing the best action plan that we can to assure the public's safety. Okay. If not, thank you all very much for coming.